Good afternoon, dear students. I welcome you all back to day 4 virtual classes. I am Dr. Sujata Mohan from SDC Degree College. As I am dealing with the subject personality development, I am in the process of Unit 1 self awareness. Already I have completed Unit 1 to Unit 1.6, and now as of today I am going to discuss about Volume 1.7, that is individual self, Volume 1.8 components of self awareness, and Volume 1.9 the 5 pillars of self awareness. Are you guys with me? Let me proceed further. Unit 1.7 An individual self. In order to recognize self, an individual can divide themselves into four selves. That is mental self, emotional self, physical self, and spiritual self. Now let me explain you briefly about what exactly all these four self are. First one is the mental self. It refers to the thoughts and imagination. What it refers? It refers to the thoughts and imaginations of an individual. The mental self is under the control of an individual, as the person has the power to control and the way of imagination. Do you think anybody charges for imagination? Imagination can be free. Imagine can be done without any control, but an individual can control the way of imaginations. That is the mental self. One can control. Suppose you are addicted to chocolates, so you can control your mind that I will not eat chocolate from tomorrow onwards. That is the mental self. Secondly, emotional self. It is usually said that emotions are not under one's control. Emotion cannot be controlled. Emotions are very free. It comes as and when it depends on the situations which arises according to the situations. It is generally impossible for an individual to hide or avoid the emotions. Suppose if somebody is cracking the joke, can any person sit quietly and listen? No. It emotions changes, like when somebody is cracking the joke and he burst out with the happiness, or he keep laughing about the jokes. Secondly, we can say that when a friend comes and expresses his feeling that his parents met with an accident, can somebody laugh at him? No. He comes out with the emotion of crying. So this is called as the emotional self. And thirdly, it is the physical self. Physical self is a self of an individual. It refers to personal experiences. It is the way he looks and appears in front of the others. It's his own ability to notice the feeling, physical sensation, reactions, habits, behavior, thoughts. All this comes under physical self. Another way of to think of it is paying attention to you. That is intuitions. That is what exactly intuition means. Unexpected feeling. That is, you know, but you don't have proof or evidence. Or we can say it is also your sixth sense of getting the feelings. So that is the physical self. Lastly, it is the spiritual self. It refers to the value and beliefs of a person. It helps the identifying and becoming aware of oneself. That is the spiritual self. Now let's go to the unit 1.8 components of self-awareness. So as per the current scenario, emotional self-awareness has become a hot topic of discussions because it's one of the five facets of emotional intelligence. That is self-awareness, thoughts, feelings, body and emotions. Now let's see the components of self-awareness. The components of self-awareness is the that is the recognition who I am, and the self-regulation what I do, and the self-awareness, self-management, social awareness and social skills. The self-awareness is also known as the recognition who I am, and the self-management is also known as self-control, or we can call it as a self-management. And awareness to others is also known as social awareness, and social skills is also known as building relationship. Now first one is emotional self-awareness. It is the ability to recognize and understand personal moods and emotions. as well as their effects on others. This awareness includes self-confident, self-assessment, realistic sense of humor and knowledge of self. This is known as self-awareness. Once recognizing their own moods and thoughts, their emotions, their drives, their sense of humor, realistic of life, and knowledge of self is known as self-awareness. And the second one is self-regulation. It is also known as self-control or self-management. The ability to control or redirect moods to be according to the situations, and to be transparent in judgment before acting, and to adopt the changes and take personal responsibility of their own words and deeds. This is known as self-management or self-control. Examples are emotional self-control, integrity, achievement drives, adaptability and initiative and innovative and learning orientations are the persons who have the self-management. The third one is the social awareness. It is also known as awareness of others. In this, the people work for the inner visions of what is important in life. They always focus what is important in life, and they want to do something which they have curiosity of learning. And these are the people who pursue goals to have a strong drive to achieve, and who takes initiative and commitments to complete a task. There are some examples of awareness of others is empathy, service oriented, organizational motto, and appreciating diversity. That is empathy. Now, do you know what is the difference between empathy and sympathy? Empathy means experiencing someone else's feeling or feeling sorry for someone. Sympathy, on the other hand, means understanding someone else's suffering or ability to take part in someone else's feeling. Example, Jackie had sympathy to John who lost his house in fire. So in this sentence, sympathy refers to the feeling sorry for someone who is in distress, whereas empathy is understanding someone's pain. The next one is the social skill. It is also known as building skill. Proficiency in managing relationship and building networks, and good rapport and good communication and listening skill and responding appropriately is the social skill of the one's individual. The ability to guide and inspire others and influence the leadership qualities are some of the self components. Then building relationship is of good communication, developing others, facilitating team performance, managing conflicts, building influence, and catalyzing changes and inspirational leadership. These are the components of social awareness. The next slide, let us know about the self-concept, that is the components of self-concept. The self-concept has been divided into four parts, that is self-esteem, body image, role performance, and personality identity. So self-esteem means it is the way we see and think about ourselves, that is our own confidence or one's own ability and self-respect. And the second one is the body images. It is based on our thoughts and appearance. It's about our feelings, and people are judging your appearance can affect your body image. If people are watching us, by seeing the body image itself, they can identify what exactly the personality of that particular person. Poor body image comes from negative thoughts and feelings about your appearance, and a healthy body image is made up of the thoughts and the feelings of the positive. So body image is the major factor of self-esteem, which is the way you think and feel about yourself as a person. And the third one is the role performance. It is the concepts which relate to the successful that the person plays in his life. The performance can be measured in terms of success, in the success or failures according to the role. The third is the personality identity. The personality identity is nothing but one's own brain and body. to identify one's own self, that is his brain or and his body, which is related to the intellectual way of thinking, his experience, psychological changes, and the environmental changes like societal society, religions. All this are related to the self concepts. The next topic is 5 pillars of self-awareness. It has been classified into two, that is the values and learning styles. Value is further classified into emotional intelligence and attitudes. This learning style is further classified into core self-evaluations. So let's know about the value. Value means which reflects a person's sense of right or wrong, whether he feels that whether he's a right or wrong, he values himself. And the second one is the emotional intelligence. It is the ability of an individual to recognize their own and other people's emotion. That is, emotionally to know about oneself and others too. And attitude towards changes. It refers to individual attitudes towards the changing environment. According to the environment, people keep changing. That is the attitude towards the changes. And the learning style, it also refers to the ranges or different types of styles of learning, that is the various theories and different views how the style should be defined and categorized. And the other one is the core self evaluation. It represents a stable personality triad which encompasses an individual subconscious fundamental, that is evaluation about themselves, their own ability and their own control is nothing but the core self-evaluation. And these are the 5 pillars of self-awareness. Finally, I have come to an end of today's class. Before ending up, I would like to share a story to you all. The story is about being yourself. So let me share you. Are you ready? Okay, fine. One day, King came to his garden and saw withering and dying trees, bushes, and flowers. An oak said, "It dies because it cannot be as high as a pine." And the pine tree tells that it was falling down because it could not give grapes like a grapevine. Meanwhile, the grapevine was dying because it couldn't blossom like a rose. But soon the king found a single plant, pleasing heart, bloomy and fresh. The king asked, "All the trees and flowers here are withering and you are flourishing. Why?" So I think it comes naturally. You have planted me because it was your wish and your choice. If you would like to grow an oak, grapes or rose, you would plant them, and I cannot be anything else than what I am. So I try to develop my best quality. This is what the single plant said. So the moral of the story is, look at yourself. You can be only yourself. It is impossible for you to become someone else. You can enjoy life and blossom, or you can either wither if you do not accept yourself. So be yourself always. Don't try to follow others. One has to be oneself. So this is the moral of the story. Thank you, dear students. See you in the next class with new topic, that is about improving self-awareness and benefits of understanding self-awareness, and the activity will be given to you as an assignment. Thank you. See you in the next class.